on another episode of today's News Tonight. So Witcher Season 2, now streaming live on Netflix, is now under fire from Peta, apparently, for abusing and exploiting animals. Netflix The Witcher has a monster problem in that producers apparently monstrously chose to exploit a live lemur and squirrel monkeys among other animals instead of using modern and humane computer-generated imagery. My wife and I just started Witcher Season 2, and I don't really remember these scenes with this lemur and squirrel monkeys, and what's really interesting is that PETA has said this statement, but they also don't have a link to any of these supposed scenes. Now, they're probably right. These scenes probably do exist, but as far as them exploiting the animals or abusing them, there's a lot of animals being used in film and TV series and use them very humanely, very gingerly, very kindly, and they're not abused. They get fed plenty. They get plenty of outside time, and they come and do these scenes for a few hours and they go back to doing what they're doing in, I'm sure, zoos and things like that. And another thing I might add is they also don't talk about the horses, the many, many horses that are used in this series. I'm really surprised that they're not touting how abusive and the use of being exploited of all these animals on film, and there's no mention of horses. I did a couple of Google searches. I didn't find any of these particular scenes of these animals, quote unquote, being exploited and abused. It's possible I just haven't seen those scenes yet because we just started the season, but I would really like to see the information just so I can make a good, educated decision for myself whether I believe that or not. It's not even cited on their website. 0 results looking for Witcher 2 Netflix. And in this statement here, which is the link that I got from Bounding into Comics, doesn't give me any links to any videos. Here's the thing about animals in film and series. I think it's okay for animals to be in there as long as their role is very small and as long as they're not being harmed in any way, shape, or form. I think as long as they're happy, they're fully fed, they make sure that they're clean, give them some outside time. I don't see anything wrong with putting animals in TV series and in movies. So I don't know, maybe you out there have actually looked at these video clips and actually can give an opinion one way or another. If you do have the links, definitely email them to us. At theperiodicreview at gmail.com. I'd love to view that video and give my actual full opinion on this in some future form. As noted above, this is far from the first time PETA has rode the coattails of a popular entertainment release in order to make a desperate plea for relevancy. In September, as players eagerly awaited the then upcoming reveal of Sora as the final Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC fighter, PETA petitioned Nintendo to add their mascot, not a nugget, to the game, despite the organization's own history of accusing Nintendo of supporting and even promoting animal cruelty. Likewise, May 2020 saw the group stage an in-game protest against Animal Crossing New Horizons Museum Collection mechanic, requesting that Nintendo alter the game's core mechanics and free the fish on display across all players' islands. I think this is really silly, especially when it comes to pixels, and I think it's kind of silly for them to demand that you put their mascot in a game and then demand that you change core mechanics from a game because of the way they display virtual fish in a virtual game. With that being said, it does feel bad when you do see animals in cages and they're relatively unhappy and you can tell that it's not somewhere they want to be. And I think that definitely makes me feel bad, and that definitely makes me feel like that's something that does need to change. And I do think it is a really important thing to note that we can use CGI nowadays. So if you do have a scene with you selling an animal in a marketplace within a cage, like especially if it's a small cage. I mean, if it's a big cage relatively to the size of the animal, I think we can say that might be okay. It just kind of depends. I think it's a case-by-case basis. But I do believe that we do have the capability and means to put virtual animals in these cages. But then I guess the question is like, are these organizations like PETA really worried about the optics or the actual reality of the thing? Because then it becomes the question is, if we start putting animals in cages and we're selling them in marketplaces, like these virtual animals that are facsimiles of real animals, then isn't that bad too? I don't know anymore, and honestly, right now, my brain hurts. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Hopefully, we have earned your subscription today, so don't forget to hit that red button, click that damn bell, make sure that you don't miss any of our content releases, and from our family to yours, good night.